My first conversation this morning is going to be with Miss Candice Lackhansingh, who is a Director of Strategy, Business Facilitation and Program Management for TNT's Newcomers Development Agreement. And she's joining us online. Good morning and welcome to you.
Yours as well.
All right, great. So, I did not get any sort of information before this interview. My producer sort of forgot to give me. But could you just give us an idea about just what is this new e-commerce development agreement about?
Sure. Actually, before I go into the agreement, let me first explain what is e-commerce so I can put this into some context. And so e-commerce is essentially a business model that will enable the buying and selling of goods over the internet. And it really plays a critical role in the development of businesses because it allows businesses to reach that external market, to reach other countries around the world. And I think many businesses over the pandemic period would have used e-commerce to survive and to be able to continue their businesses. And we've seen that growth in the use of e-commerce even after the pandemic, post-pandemic. And so the government now has seen the value of e-commerce as a key driver for economic growth because it's not only enhancing the competitiveness of business, but it's looking at improving the efficiency of firms, giving rise to new economic opportunities, expanding that reach and that market access. And so to enable this buying and selling of goods over the internet, to enable e-commerce, we must have the right infrastructure set up. We must have the right payment solutions, the right legal frameworks, the right capacity to be able to do this. And so on December 5th, 2023, this just a few weeks ago, the government signed an agreement with UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development. And this agreement is to develop Trinidad and Tobago's national e-commerce strategy 2024 to 2029.
Great. So now we have this new agreement in place. And what should the public be aware about it?
Well, first of all, in terms of the agreement itself, we're looking to develop the agreement in two phases. The first is an e-trade readiness assessment. And that e-trade readiness assessment, especially for businesses, we expect to have stakeholder consultations, look at all of any gaps that exist, look at the opportunities that exist, conduct a full analysis of what is needed to really enable e-commerce in Trinidad and Tobago and take it forward, enable that, make sure it moves forward. And so to do that, the ET readiness will now identify the gaps and opportunities. And from these gaps and opportunities, the e-commerce strategy will be developed, which will include the recommendations set out to achieve, fill those gaps and achieve those opportunities. And so we would have to look out for in terms of consultations and engagement with the business sector, engagement with stakeholders, and constant engagement with not only private sector, but institutions and government institutions as well.
Now, how can businesses get involved with this?
Sure. So we have a consultant that will be hired, a national local consultant that will be reaching out. And as you know, from the Ministry of Trade and Industry side, we have relationships with, let's just say in Tobago, the THA, Tobago Chamber of Commerce, and all of our business associations and other institutions and partners. So those stakeholders and the government will be reaching out to conduct those interviews, to conduct those assessments, to engage businesses into understanding the challenges. In fact, just a few weeks ago, we were in Tobago, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, with the Chamber, looking at what are the issues, what are the challenges faced, how do we enable businesses to grow, to diversify, to expand. And so now, when we meet with the businesses again and we continue to further this discussion, we're looking at how do we address those challenges and be able to now take you to a platform that you can use e-commerce and diversify your businesses to be online, to reach markets, to access new opportunities. And so we will be reaching out to stakeholders, to businesses, to get involved and to engage them.
What about the user friendliness of something like this, especially in a society where maybe not all of our citizens are familiar with some of these platforms?
Of course. So the strategy itself, we're looking at, first of all, now you're looking at a platform when you talk about user friendliness. So the strategy would guide how the platform would be developed. It would guide the user friendliness of the platform. And of course, you're not talking about one platform. You're talking about different businesses having their own e-commerce platform, their own particular site that they can be able to buy and sell goods. So the strategy itself is not just setting up the platform. The strategy is looking at how do you enable businesses to capitalize on platforms that either exist or develop their new platforms, or capitalize on how they can actually buy and sell goods online. And so the strategy will be setting up all of the necessary infrastructure. For instance, when you buy and sell goods online, you need logistics, the right courier services, you need the right infrastructure, you need to have access to broadband internet, wireless internet, you need to have access to the capacity and the skills to use the system, to update your websites, update your products, market your products. And so all of that will be tackled in the strategy. So the strategy would facilitate the use of e-commerce.
And when it comes to just that data connectivity and making sure that all businesses, no matter where they are situated in Trinidad and Tobago, that they have access to a reliable source of data, is the ministry working with the providers to make sure that that happens?
So, under the Ministry of Trade and Industry, we are responsible for promoting the growth of non-energy exports. We do have a Ministry of Digital Transformation that is implementing projects at this point in time to increase that access and that broadband access to all citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and that's a key project of the Ministry of Digital Transformation. So we are working in collaboration with them. We're working in collaboration with other key ministries to ensure, because we're not doing it in a silo. It's a holistic process. There are different parts, and so we are ensuring that we work with the right ministries and agencies to get it done.
And then is there anything else that we missed this morning? Anything else that you think that the public should be aware of?
Yes, so in terms of this particular e-commerce strategy for Tobago and for the Tobago businesses, I think it's very, very critical that Tobago become involved in this strategy, because you're talking about the advantages of going past a physical storefront. So you're looking at a physical storefront can only attract so many limited customers. Now you're talking about taking your businesses online, being able to access international markets, regional markets, and being able to connect with new customers. So you have new products, being able to market your products. And so that's one part of it. And so I think the Ministry of Trade and Industry, what you'd have to appreciate for Tobago businesses is that, and Trinidad businesses, is that the e-commerce strategy is just one part of the strategy, but we also have other key projects, other key programs that are aligned and complement this. So, for example, improving your labeling, improving your packaging, financing opportunities through various grants, improving your standards of your product, so that once your product goes online, it can actually penetrate international markets, and you are able to access the international markets.
All right, well, thank you so much, Mr. Lackhansingh, for being on with us and for just giving us your perspective on what's been happening with this e-commerce platform. And we're certainly looking forward to seeing more of the program being rolled out in the country and more conversations, especially as it relates to Tobago and Tobago's businesses getting involved in the future.
Yes, thank you. And let me just say that, the Ministry of Trade and Industry really do remain committed to serving the businesses in Tobago as well, and to be able to grow and diversify and expand our businesses.
Thank you so much. All right, viewers, we're going to go for a quick break and we'll be right back with GMT.